Okay, so in the day one challenge of this process 5-day challenge, I talked about the law of cause and effect. And that is the fundamental law. The inside is the cause of the outside, and the outside world is a mirror effect of the inside, right? And through this process of universal laws in action, one of the underlying message that I want to convey, that I want everybody to take home with and to carry this idea and the awareness with you everywhere you go, is to begin changing the relationship with what appears to be lack, right? To begin noticing how much of the time you're in a state of lack without you consciously aware of it, because habits are actions we take without any conscious thoughts. And action doesn't need to be doing the thing, but the internal action is to begin thinking about what makes you worry about, or to feel the body contracted because you're in a state of anxiety, right? And all those tendency is a pattern for many people who have been living in a survival mode, right? Being in a survival mode is a habit. That's not how we were born. As we came here as pure love, which is the opposite of survival mode. It's a infinite expansion in the presence and the joy of being here right now, right? So as we contaminate the mind, that's the best language that I can use, through the conditioning and the programming of the world, including our surrounding, the people who we are surrounded by, we started to dim our light. So the light is still within us. The love, pure love of us is still within us, but we started to sort of cover up with all those fear-based survival mechanism, and that has entangled for all of us and begin creating the lack in the outside, not because of what is, but because of the energetics that we operate from. So cause and effect is something that I want to anchor first. And then yesterday I talked about the law of polarity, which is the opposite exists in this contextual field. Yeah. And then by understanding that, you want to be able to see anything that appears to be negative from a soul-led perspective, lens of the soul. And the opposite exists. And in order for us to experience happiness, we want to go through some unhappiness to appreciate happiness. Yeah. So we don't get attached to that reaction to life, or to that what appears to be negative in life. Yeah. And that requires a little practice. Yeah. Exercise and self-reflection all the time. Now, today I want to talk about the law of relativity, which is one of my another favorite. You will hear me saying every single time it's my favorite, because I love them all, right? And the reason that this law of relativity is my one of the absolute favorite is because we can apply this to begin cultivating our belief. So belief is what is true for us, what feels natural for us, and that truth inside of us, the energetics of the truth, the subconscious vibration of what is true for us, is going to 100% of the time manifest in the outside world. Yeah. And the truth that we feel internally, the belief that we have internally, is just an information. None of the belief, even the positive ones, are who we truly are. Because in the dimension of the soul spirit is the dimension of the absolute. It's not the dimension of the belief, it's the dimension of the knowing. So there's no any belief about it, right? The belief is in the dimension of the mind, in the fourth dimensional psycho-emotional plane. So the way we want to use this law of relativity to cultivate our belief and expand our belief and possibilities and what is true for us is to begin understanding what Shakespeare said, right? Nothing is big or small, only thinking make it so. Nothing is too good or too bad, only thinking make it so. Nothing is too much or too little, only thinking make it so, right? Nobody's going to be taller if everybody has the same height, right? Uh, you won't be able to see the white mandala, sun and moon mandala behind me if there wasn't a contrast between the color of the wall and the color of the mandala, right? So there's a relative color difference, yeah, I'm here, my body you can see in the background, but everything, including my body and the background, was white. You won't be able to distinguish, right? So everything is relative. There's a shape, there's a size, there's a color difference, there's a tonality difference. Everything in this contextual field, relative realm, is relative. So what it means is that whatever that you are currently believing about you is also relative. So let's say if you don't feel strong your physical body or calm your mental aspect, that is actually relative. It doesn't need to be true. It's true based on your understanding, your awareness, and you can change it. Let's say if you feel like, let's go one by one. Let's feel like you are having a overwhelming life because of the circumstance. Now, overwhelming life in the circumstance comes from the overwhelming mind and identity. And whatever that is true for you internally is emanating that energetics to be able to experience that in the physical world. And one of the ways in which I can explain easily how to utilize this law of relativity to apply for all of us is the subject of money. Now, myself and this Soul Purpose group believes that we live in an abundant universe. Yeah. Abundant universe means that there's an infinite supply in it, right? So there's no shortage in money. And many people live as if there's shortage in money because that's what they're experiencing, but their experience comes from what they believe to be true internally, what is true for them based on the past present experience and based on what they see in the physical world. But let's apply back that law of cause and effect, right? If you let that past experience or outside world be the cause of what you can believe internally, we will repeat again and again over and over the same thing. So we want to start with the vision. What is it that you want? What makes you feel expansive and alive? And begin starting from that place. Yeah. Now, many people are conditioned to look at the physical five sensory evidence of sight, that's how we call it, to measure what they have available for them. Yeah, that is a manifestation of physical world, right? And we never want to start there because if you start there, you are closing the opportunity, right? We want to start with what if? What if this can happen, right? What do we want to create? This is the end result. This is the vision, the greatest vision of my life. And if I'm there, what is the feeling and the sensation and the identity and belief that I would be having? What would be true for me in that context? And begin exercise that energetics and feeling using our imagination is how we want to be living. That is the soul-led life because imagination is God. The whole process of manifestation is God. There's nowhere that God is not, right? The ability for us to imagine and create something in the screen of the mind is God in action. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to do that. So to truly appreciate that gift that each and every one of us has, and to actually utilize that for the good, to serve us, to for the sake of producing, not against us, is what we want to practice. Yeah. So the question that I want to ask is, what is one truth about you that might be hindering your expansion, right? Then in order to evaluate and assess that question, we want to know what is the desire. And when we are living the desire, who we are becoming, and what are the beliefs that we are currently having that we can change using the scale of relativity, right? What is the next level way of looking at yourself by removing all the mental construct, and how can you begin choosing to see you differently to be able to believe and formulate a different kind of truth in you? Yeah. So pick one item. It could be in terms of health, in terms of relationship, in terms of business, in terms of finance, in terms of peace of mind, and what is true for me, right? This is the manifestation that I'm experiencing in the outside world. Okay, the manifestation is the effect of my internal energetic. What am I actually believing currently that I might not be aware until I ask this question to myself, which is I am doing and you're doing together, that I can change to be able to manifest something different, right? And believe her information that nested in the subconscious mind until we begin asking a question, we won't be able to reveal it. So the question, again, that I want you to ask is, there's an outcome that you want, and there's an outcome that you're currently having, right? And what am I believing that is leading to create the current outcome? And what do I need to believe instead to be able to produce the new outcome? And the internal practice, mental practice that you can do is to begin thinking about somebody who is producing what you want to be producing, right? What would this person be? What is this person believing about him or herself, right? And begin writing all those down, right? It doesn't need to be a dissertation, but as a context of practice or the challenge, in the comment, I want you to write down what is the belief that you currently have that is producing the current outcome, and what is the belief that you can have instead to be producing a different next level expansive outcome. Yeah, and jot down those below and continue to go inwards to exercise. Tomorrow, I'm going to be talking about the law of rhythm. Being in alignment with this law is essential because otherwise you will be resisting against it. And the final date of the challenge is going to be 5 traits of subconscious mind. Understanding that is a key to really begin harmonizing with the universal law. So stay tuned. See you in the next video.